Welcome to Spice It Up with Jenny. If you like Italian food, you're going to want to stay tuned to today's show. I'm going to be showing you how to make a wonderful, delicious manicotti from scratch. We're going to have a visit from our friendly local butcher, CJ Gott. He's going to show you how to make a great Italian sausage to add to the red sauce, which we're going to pour over the manicotti. And we're also going to be making a visit to the Irish Winery, which is on Main Street in Murphy's, and Russ and Jim are going to show us which wine to pair with this meal. I want to talk a little bit today about the herbs I'm going to be using in today's cooking. We're going to be using basil and oregano. Now, this is sweet basil. It's the king of herbs. It also has other varieties: cinnamon basil, lemon basil, licorice basil, and Thai basil. And Thai basil is kind of on the hot side. I just want to give you a little heads up on that. The fresh basil is important when you use it in cooking to add it at the very end, because if not, the heat will destroy the flavor. And also use the leaves from the top of your basil plant because they are the sweetest. Also, if you pound it and cut it or tear it, you're going to release its flavor. Now, oregano is the next herb, and this has a very pungent marjoram taste. It also comes dried or fresh. And if you're going to use it fresh, you're going to take the piece at the top and hold it, and then if you just strip it down, then the leaves will fall off. And you can add that to your cooking. But believe it or not, the dried oregano is more flavorful than the fresh oregano. And it comes in two different varieties that are the most popular, which are Greek and Mexican. So with that being said, let's get to cooking. Most manicotti is made with the dried tube-shaped shells, but on today's show, I'm going to show you how to make the stuffing with a crepe. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to crack in some eggs. And I'm going to make half a batch, and the portion I'm going to use today is 3 eggs to 3/4 cup flour and 3/4 cup ice water. Now here's a little tip. If you ever break an eggshell in, take your eggshell and you can scoop it out because it's used to being in this. I know sometimes we use paper towels and other things and that never works. All right, we're going to add in our flour next and our ice water. And then we're just going to mix it. Perfect timing. CJ's here. CJ, I'm so happy you could come on the show today. Come on in and let me introduce you. Thank you for being on my show today.
Oh, no problem, Jenny.
CJ's been a butcher in our county for 10 years, and he's also the manager of the Angels Market meat department. And you're going to show the viewers today how to make some wonderful Italian sausage, right?
Yes.
Okay, now what is it that you need?
A food processor.
Okay,
and a cutting board.
Well, you're in luck. I have both. So I'm going to scoot this stuff out of the way. Why don't you go over there and bring us the food processor and the cutting board, and we will start. Or actually, you will start. Let me just move this out of the way and come on over here. And I'll plug you right in. Okay, I love Italian food. Love it.
We got a pork shoulder roast here.
Okay, pork
from
shoulder.
Angel's Food Market.
Got it.
It's almost 3 pounds. It's a little under.
Okay.
So we're going to be making some Italian sausage here.
Yum. All right. Oh, that's a gorgeous pork roast. And this is a shoulder, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Also known as a Boston butt roast.
Oh, yes. Okay.
And I grabbed a boneless piece here.
Very
nice
good.
fat content in there.
Yes, look at all that nice marbling.
Yes.
But it's not going to be too fatty.
No. We
Okay.
definitely like the fat with our sausage.
Yeah, of course. You got to have a little bit of that grease. You know, that's what gives it the flavor, right?
Yes.
Is the fat. Okay.
So you could buy ground pork at the store, or even your mild Italian sausage at the store, so you don't have to grind it up yourself. But I wanted to show you the meat before it gets ground.
Good.
So for the food processor, we're just going to slice it up smaller pieces here so It's a little easier on the food processor. It doesn't take as long either.
Very good. So will you slice up about maybe half of this?
Yeah, I'd say
Yeah.
half for our
Good.
recipe today.
Good, yeah. Oh, that will be absolutely perfect. Now, if they don't have a food processor, they'll just have to get it ground from the market, some ground pork.
Yeah.
Right, okay. All right.
Which is
And ground
pretty common.
pork is, yeah, that's readily available, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very, very good. Wonderful. Oh, look at all that marbling in that. My goodness sakes. Okay, very, very good. All right.
Let's take another chunk out of here.
Move this out of the way. Wonderful. Yeah, I can really see the difference in the piece. Now this won't be as flavorful for the sausage as this because this has more of the fat content,
Yes,
right?
but when it's ground up,
Yeah.
it's all gonna be mixed in together.
Good. All right. So let me switch sides with you. Oh, you've got it. Very
Oh,
good.
yeah. I've handled one
I
of these
say
before.
that you're an old pro at this with the process. Yeah, but normally in the market you have the big grinding machines. That's
Yes.
why I just, All right. Go ahead and start her. Oops, we didn't get it on. Right. Okay, there we go. There we go.
Maybe I'll learn that. That last one.
Perfect. See how I always want to get my hands in there? Oh, that looks beautiful. See this today. Oh, there we go. Okay, I'll take this out. We'll put this like this. Very good. Okay, the rest is yours. Now you're going to season this, right?
Yes.
Okay.
May need a little mixing bowl
A
here.
little mixing bowl. You've got it. Would you like to wipe your hands?
Yes, please.
There you go. And here you are.
Thank
Okay,
you.
you're so welcome. And here's a spatula to get it out with too. All right. That looks wonderful.
Get this last little bit here.
You got it.
All right.
I'll take this. Okay.
All right, and here's our meat ground up. It's a little
that
different
looks
color.
yummy.
You can see the darkness of that mixed in with the fat, so it just turns it a little lighter pink, all mixed in.
Very, very good. Looks lovely.
So now we need the Italian seasoning.
Okay. And what seasonings do you need? So this is fennel, parsley,
Yes.
okay.
Salt, pepper,
Salt,
paprika.
pepper, paprika.
There's a little garlic and onion in there
Of
also,
course.
and a few extra spices that
Okay.
we like to keep secret at Angel's Food Market.
Smart. Now, I understand that fennel is a lot like anise. I once had a butcher tell me if I couldn't get Italian sausage to buy a pound of ground round and to add some anise seed to it. Do you agree with that?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, very
Yeah,
good.
that's a good little secret.
It probably won't be as flavorful as this homemade, but if you're in a pinch, it'll do. Okay, so go ahead. So you're going to add this now to,
Yes, so this was almost a 3-pound piece.
right?
Pound and a half roughly.
Right.
So I'm just gonna give it 1 pinch
Okay,
and a little extra.
okay. Oh, that looks yummy. The aroma of all those spices and herbs are divine.
Yes, and there it is on top. Let me mix it in there.
I can see you've done this a time or two.
Just a little bit, yeah.
This is going to really flavor the red sauce I'm going to make today quite well, too.
Yes. Jenny, will you help me and maybe throw in another pinch?
I would be glad to.
Thank you.
You're so welcome. So you're judging it by the feel, right?
Well, the color, the seasoning also,
Okay.
you can see it in the meat. Make sure you blend it all together real well too, so you don't end up with a pocket of meat with a lot of seasoning in it and the
Right.
other not. So you make sure, you gotta get your hands a little dirty here.
So would you say to 1.5 pounds of ground pork, maybe 1.5 tablespoons of the seasoning mix?
Yeah,
Yeah, okay, good deal.
and it is
There you
preference
go, viewers.
also.
Okay, yeah, right. How spicy you want,
Yeah,
yeah, okay.
some
got
people
it.
like it a little extra salty.
Some like it a little more bland, right,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. To your liking. Okay,
So
that's it. Look at that. That's absolutely beautiful. Now we're gonna make the red sauce and add this to it. CJ, thank you so much for coming on and enlightening our viewers today.
always a pleasure, Jenny.
Thank you so much. My pleasure. Okay, we're going to start first by warming some olive oil in our pot. And I think it's probably warm. Now we're going to add, oh yeah, you can hear that sizzle. You know it's ready. We're going to add some onion to this. And some multicolored bell peppers as well. And we're going to let these saute a little bit. We're going to add a little bit of salt. And some cracked pepper. And I'm not going to put the garlic in until this is almost sauteed, because if you brown the garlic, it's going to get bitter. Nobody wants to eat bitter garlic. So this is looking really, really nice. Got a nice sizzle to it. It's going to cook up in no time. And while that's sizzling away, we're going to start making our crepes. So we're going to turn our burner on. We're going to get our pan nice and hot. And this looks pretty good. So we're going to add some garlic now to our sauce. I'm going to put in probably about 4 or 5 cloves of garlic. We're going to smash it in. The aroma of garlic and onion and olive oil, nothing beats that. Okay, we're going to stir this around a little bit. God, that smells divine. Okay, now we're ready. We're going to add some crushed tomatoes. Some tomato sauce. And some tomato paste. I'm going to give this a nice stir. Oh, look at all the marriage of these beautiful multicolored vegetables and the red sauce. And then we're going to add a splash of red wine. Wonderful. Stir that up a little bit. Oh yes, this is going to make a great sauce. And then we're going to add our little bit of fresh parsley and some dried oregano. Remember what I said about the dried oregano having more flavor than the fresh. And we're going to give that another stir. Look at it. Isn't that just gorgeous? And we're going to add our Italian sausage now. So instead of adding it in one big clump, I'm just going to break off little pieces and add to that. And then we'll give it another stir. Gosh, I wish you could be in my kitchen and get the aroma of this. It just smells so good in here. I feel like I'm in Italy. Tuscany, here I come. You're going to love this. This is a very easy recipe, and it's so flavorful. In fact, I like to wait till the summertime comes, and I like to make dry some tomatoes and add some nice sweet dried tomatoes to it too. I like to wash them, pick them from the garden, wash them, and then cut them in half, and then roast them in the oven with some olive oil, and add that to the sauce because they're so sweet. I know some people put sugar in their sauce. I never have. I don't mind the bite of the acidity in the tomato. And then we're going to stir this, and then we're going to turn it down to a simmer and just let it cook for anywhere 1.5, possibly 2 hours, depending on the temperature of the flame. Okay, we're just about done with this now. I like to make my sauce nice and meaty. Okay. All right, now we're just going to stir this up, make sure all of our meat is folded in and coated. Now, I'm not going to cover my sauce because if you cover your pan, your sauce is going to get watery. You want it to get nice and thick. So now I'm just going to turn this down a little bit and let it cook away. That's all there is to it. Our grill seems to be hot enough. I'm going to spray it with a little bit of olive oil spray. And then we're going to take our crepe batter that we made. We're going to give it a stir. And we're going to start making our crepes now. Our crepes to have with our manicotti. Oh, listen to that grill go. That's perfect. And I add probably about a 1/4 cup at a time is what you want to add. You do not turn these crepes. You just keep them on one side. As you can see, some of the shiny is starting to go away now, and we're getting more of a cooked look on top. And that's very important. And you only have to spray the olive oil on your griddle one time. And when you slide them off, you do not flip them over. You just slide them and let them go. Now what I like to do is I like to touch and feel. So if it doesn't feel sticky, it's ready. This still feels a little sticky. Okay, I think this one is just about done. Move this one to the center a little more, and this one, and this one. Now if you want a bigger crepe, use a larger amount of batter. I like to use the small ones though. Perfect, this one's ready to come off. So we're just going to put that on a platter. Move this one in. Yep, this one's ready too. Whoa! Sometimes accidents happen, but you can always save it if you get them in time. Okay, I think you get the idea. Very good. I think we're done. All right, I'll meet you back in the other part of my kitchen where we make the stuffing. Okay, the filling is simple. You want some ricotta cheese. I put in a little bit of fresh parsley. I'm going to beat in an egg because the egg will help fold it together. Doesn't need much of a beat, just a little bit. It'll keep it formed. And then I'm going to add some cubed mozzarella. All this wonderful cheese will melt. Probably a little bit more. And a little bit of shaved Parmesan. Okay, that's it. And then we're going to stir it up. Fold it in. There's so much flavoring in the sauce that you don't really need to season this dish. But I like to use parsley because it makes such a pretty color and it also adds to the flavor. Now I took the liberty last night to make some sauce for today also, and that's the sauce right here, and I'll show you about that, how we're going to use that in this recipe. And also Right before I took the sauce off, about 5 minutes, I added my fresh sweet basil, because remember what I said about adding the basil at the end because the heat destroys it, cooking destroys it? Okay, so that's basically it. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to add some sauce to the bottom of our pan, kind of smear it around. This way the crepes don't stick to the bottom. And we're going to take a crepe. Now, what you want to do is you want this to be on the outside. So the cooked side is what you're going to fill. So you're going to turn this over, and we're going to fill the inside. That's probably a little bit too much. And then we're just going to fold one end over the other end like this. It almost looks like a taco or a cannoli. And we're going to place that right like that. We're going to do that with this one. This is a great company dish. It's a wonderful dish for a Sunday dinner when you have your family in. Fold it over. Lay it inside of this. You can use any type of serving vessel that you want. Sometimes I like to do these on an individual basis, and I'll fill little individual bowls like this for the number of people that I'm having. Sometimes I'll just make it big family style, and I'll put it like this. But as you can see, you kind of get the idea of what you have to do. And then I'll spoon more sauce over that. Just kind of run it down the top of that. So once you've put on your sauce on the top and you've sprinkled your Parmesan on, get some sliced mozzarella. And I just like to lay a slice on each piece. And it kind of helps divide it if you make this family style too. And then into the oven it goes at about 350 for, about 45 minutes or so. And then you pull it out. And here it is, the manicotti with all that melty cheese and the aroma. I can't wait to stick a fork into this. I kid you not. This is beautiful. Well, now we're going to make a visit to the Irish winery in Murphy's, as I said previously, and we're going to see what wines that Jim and Russ want to pair with this meal. Well, here we are in beautiful downtown Murphy's, California, at the Irish Winery. I'm standing with owner Russ Irish and his dad Jim. And I told them about the great manicotti I was making, and I asked them to pair some wines with it based on the spices I herbed, the garlic and the oregano and the basil and the thyme. So Russ, what do you think? What do you think we should use for this tomato-based manicotti?
I'm thinking we should probably do some Barbera with that. I think it'll pair up very well.
Barbera?
Barbera.
Okay, why?
Well, I think it's from our region. It's that manicotti has a little bit more spices into it, a little bit more basils and garlic and things of that nature. I would go with something that's a little bit more fruit-forward style that doesn't have a lot of spice in the wine.
Sounds good to me. So they'll basically end up complementing one another.
Yeah, exactly.
I love that. And can you show me the Barbera?
This is our 2013 Barbera.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's not so spicy as what the Seafood wines
Oh,
are
stop it! So they're going to complement. The dish will
they're
complement one another.
exactly.
The wine will complement the food will complement the wine.
Exactly, and that's what we want to do.
Good.
Yeah.
Now, Jim, I was very fascinated when you were talking to me and explaining the concept of bricks. Do you want to tell our viewers about the bricks?
Well, as I explained to people who come into our winery on Saturdays, brick is a terminology used in the wine world that refers to the sugar flavor content.
Okay.
And the thing that I learned real quick working with Russell is it affects the flavor dramatically on the higher brick counts. So therefore, as I would mention, is that the higher the brick count, as long as you don't go to the extreme, you get more flavor and you get rid of the acids in the process. And that's what Russell's known for, is a fruit-style wines without an acid bite in the back of his throat. And that is simply why he's been so successful, is that he makes a style of wines that people enjoy without the high oak, the lactic acids, and other things that go into wine that wineries use in an effort to counteract acids and lack of flavor that's common in most wines that are under 14% alcohol.
Fascinating. Russ, can you tell me a little bit about the Iris Winery?
Well, DI's Winery, we started a winery about, I think it was 2003 we opened it up, and it was just basically a dream of mine. I came up here, I moved up from Fresno, it was in another industry besides this one. I'm all self-taught as far as the winemaking procedures
Amazing.
go. It took me years to figure that out. But anyways, we moved up here in 2003 to open up our doors. And it's relatively pretty small still. I did like 4,000 cases. We do a lot of small lots. We do quite a few different things like Malbec. We do Cabernet. We do Cab Francs, Petite Syrahs up here because they do very well. But yeah, I came up here in 2003 to pursue a small winery, and we've kind of grown from there. So, and we do a little bit more fruit-forward style wines. That's kind of my style to kind of set me aside from others. Meaning others is that they're fine, but it's just not my palate.
Sure.
So I have a tendency of allowing the grapes to hang a little bit longer on the vines to create that fruit forwardness and get rid of some of that acid that's in wines. Yeah.
Well, I certainly enjoy your wines. I want you to know that.
Good.
Keep doing what you're doing. All right, viewers, see you back in the kitchen where we'll be tasting some of that delicious manicotti paired with this wonderful Iris wine. All right, here we go. We are ready to taste this magnificent Italian manicotti. Those grapes are so soft, they actually melt in your mouth. Wonderful. The Irish boys knew what they were talking about. This wine very much complements my manicotti. So thank you for joining me on our little Italian cuisine adventure today, and I'll see you on the next episode of Spice It Up with Jenny.